Now, let's move on to our technical manual. And this was the page number 1 is just the headline is showing the technical manual. And the page number 2, and it talks about newest technology with antioxidants and no more ammonia smell. Well, naturally, because it has very little in it. And we did talk about new technology, so I'm not going to bore you with the same items. But on this page in the middle, we talk about primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. It is important for you to know when you say primary and secondary tones. And then the bottom of that page, how neutralizing colors are used to cancel out the unwanted tones. Now, this is an example, like such as blue versus orange, violet versus yellow, and so forth. But then again, this is a very small example. In real life, or your client may have a little orange, but it has a little bit yellow in it. So just because you saw a little bit orange, blue may not be just alone would be the right, the neutralizing counteract color. So with that given, please do use your color wheel and define the tones and secondary tones so you can cancel the unwanted tones. We're going to move on to page number 3. In the page number 3, we just wanted to be quickly explaining how to read our tubes. And the tubes are marked with number sequence or alphabet sequence. Means is first number is always the level, such as in this page number 3, we have 8.45. Now, 8 stands for base level. So that is medium blonde. And the next number after the point would be the 4. This indicates the dominant tone. So the dominant tone would be, in this case, is a copper. And if there were to be another digit right next to it or an alphabet, and that would be the secondary tone. So remember, the last number on the line is the least amount within the tube. So 8.45 would be light coppery red blonde. Now, with that given, we can use that alphabets with that, which is 8, C for copper, R for red. So 8CR or 8.45. So it is, we have a few other ones in the bottom, like example 6.03 or 6NW, and that will stand for slightly warm brown. So the 0 stands for a neutral, 3 stands for gold, 6 for the base level for the color. Now let's move on to page number 4. And on this page we have explaining all the color codes, color series, dominating pigments, and underlying tones. So this would be really essential for you to, in the very beginning especially, to memorize. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through it, starting with the N, 0.0, natural. NN, 0.00, intense, natural. NW, 0.03, warm, natural, serious. NB, natural, beige, serious. 0.31 or 0.13. Why there's a difference here? In the level 8 and below, we use gold and ash, but after 8 and 9, we use ash and then gold, just because on the lightness and darkness of the depth. The next one is A, which is ash, 0.1. G, 0.3, gold serious. GG, 0.33, intense gold. Cocoa, 0.35, chocolate serious. C, copper, 0.4. CC, 0.44, intense copper serious. CR, 0.45, reddish copper serious. R, 0.5, red serious. RR, R55 intense red series, RV.57 red violet series, M.6 mahogany series, V.7 violet series, UL 11 ultra lift series. If you can memorize these, and that will be a rather very helpful tool to you. And they're not hard, and I know you have worked with some foreign colors before. Unfortunately, they do use different alphabets and so forth. And but it's much simplified with us. If you're looking for an ash, is an A. If you're looking for a gold, is a G. If you're looking for a copper, is C. If you're looking for natural, is an N. And if you're looking for a red, an R, and violet is V, and so on and so forth. So that's another reason why we're hairdresser friendly. We didn't want to confuse ourselves as well as you. Page number 5 is a color wheel with JKS cream color tones placement. I really would like you to pay attention to this chart, because that shows you exactly where JKS 17 tones, where they actually placed on the color wheel. It is very important because when you're doing a color correction, when you're changing tones, and this is going to be an excellent helpful tool. Now, don't feel left out if you're about to do a color and you can't remember. That are fiber charts or paper charts. Behind them, we have this exact color wheel and the JKS cream color tones placement, so you can quickly glance at it while you're mixing their color. Now, what's the difference between the colors that is outside, like such as intense red, intense copper, intense gold? Those are very further out, and they are much more vibrant colors. And versus the inside the circle, they are more softer tones. Let's say when you see the N series within the circle close to a blue, that doesn't mean you're gonna see a big blue, but it's a softer tone, and that's where it really falls into. So remember, within the circle, softer, and as it goes out, further out of the circle, then it gets more vibrant and strong colors. So, page number 6. On this page, we talk about base levels and JKS number-coded tones. So, let's do this with, starting with number 1 is ash, number 2, yellow, number 3, gold, number 4, copper, number 5, red, number 6, mahogany, number 7, violet, and 0 is neutral, 0.0, which is neutral, and that has no pigment and could be used various differently, and we're going to touch base on that in the later of this technical manual DVD. We also have color correctors or intensifiers, you may want to call, red, green, blue, yellow, and violet. So there's 5 different intensifiers that is available to you. Ultra Lift series comes in 4 different shades: 11.00, ULN, natural blonde, 11.01, ULA, ash blonde, 11.03, ULG, golden blonde, 11.07, ULP for Peter or platinum is a platinum blonde. Now I want to say something to you before I go any further. On the platinum blonde on the UL, please make sure you're using level 7 and up. If you're using anything darker than level 7, just as you know, the platinum consists of very little, but consists of red and violet. And then if you're doing it on the level 4 or 5 or 6, and if you haven't lifted up the hair enough, then you're going to have unwanted warm tones. The pH of chemical substances and their action on the hair. As I mentioned beginning of this DVD, I wanted to share with you actually where peroxide and ammonia and bleach and tint and color and all that chemicals that we do use to create that artistic finishes, that where they fall behind on a pH scale, and if they were to be acid or alkali and so forth. So I would recommend to go through and read them. And also on the bottom of that page, very briefly, I'm talking about permanent color oxidation and how actually coloring has been done. Page number 8 is the range of correctors that used to intensify the cataract colors, and we went through with them as we were explaining a few minutes ago. And then there's 5 of them, starting with red, blue, green, yellow, and violet. And in this page we talk about repigmentation, which we do use this formula, or the way doing it is as a service within our salons. If you do have a client that is first time and you're changing their colors dramatically, or you are existing customers that they are wanting a very dramatic change, which requires a repigmentation, and please do charge for your service. And this is a great knowledge, and our colors delivers beautiful repigmentation for you. And please do read the details about how to. And that was page number 8. Now the page number 9, this is one of my favorite pages. And again, I wrote all this technical manual, so if I have any typos, so please excuse me. And as you know, I have a little accent. And they ask me, John, properly, how many languages do you speak? And I tell them, no, none. But I'm properly 4, so let's go from there. And the page number 9 is neutral gloss, or 00.00. We just want to put a lot of zeros so nobody gets confused. Now there is a multiple use for this product. I use it 3 different ways, and I'm going to share all those 3 very quickly with you. One is to add a gloss to the hair, to shine to the hair. Now this product itself, we did put some a very little ammonia in it, so you can use for lifting agents. So giving that regard, when you're doing a gloss treatment, shampoo the client's hair, then after towel dry, and use half a tube of neutral and 2 ounces of tone and tone activator developer, and apply it on the damp hair. So leave it on anywhere between 10 to 25 minutes. You don't have to directly apply to the root area, just like a shower cap, and leave it on and then rinse it out. You're going to get a beautiful result. It does not require dryers or any other requirement, so it will give a beautiful shine to the hair without any of the extra help. And the next thing that I do use I do have customers that their level 6 red is too dark, their level 7 red is too light. I have a client that level 7 gold is too dark and level 8 gold is too light. So what do? We need that something in half. And this is where neutral will walk in, and you would use 1/6 of the tube into half a tube of, let's say, 6R, and then you will use, of course, 2 ounce desired developer, and you will achieve 6.5 red. So you will move up about half a level to a 6.5 red. And that would be an excellent idea, especially when you're doing a 10A, 10N, when you're lifting somebody just a little bit and so on and so forth. It would be an excellent tool that if you feel that you need that little bit of an extra kick, that neutral will deliver that for you. Now, when you're using, let's say with a 6R, if you were just doing a deposit on a level 6 hair, and you would only use still 15 volume. Now, if you were to be using as a third option with the Ultra Lift series, then I would recommend to use a 1/4 tube of neutral with a half a tube of, let's say, ULA, which is Ultra Lift Ash. So half a tube Ultra Lift Ash, 1/4 tube of neutral. That makes about 3/4 of a tube, which is 1.5 ounce. Then you would mix that with 2.2 ounce of 40 volume developer, and that should give you a beautiful extra lift. And if you still feel that that customer still has a much more red pigment, then you can go ahead and add about a 1 inch long of a color of an intensifier of green, and that should take care of that for you. We do quite a few highlights with the ULA and ULN, and results are phenomenal. And you do have some clients who actually swear not to have highlights or lifts without the bleach, and that would be a great tool for you to use. Now, the page number 10 is a very important page, of course. Very first question, when you introduce color to someone, how do we mix it? And what's the ratio? And you will use tone and tone activator, 10 volume developer or 15 volume developer. You will mix with 1 part color, 1.3 parts of developer. If you would use full tube, which is 2 ounce, then you would use 2.6 ounce developer. The next one is 20 and 30 volume. In this case, you will mix it with 1.6 ratio of a developer versus a 1 ratio of a color. And let's do it with the color example. 1 tube, which is 2 ounce, and you would use 3.2 ounce of either 20 or 30 volume developer. Now, when we came to a 40 volume, then you will do 1 part color and a 2 part developer, except in the cases of if you're taking somebody from level 3, 4, 5 to trying to take them to 4, 5, or 6 levels up, then you will drop your ratio of developer into a 1.5. So I will give you an example too. It sounds a little confusing, but again, let's go back to 40 volume. Let's say you use half a tube, because since you're using more peroxide, I don't think it's necessary to use so much of a color. So with half a tube, which is 1 ounce of a color, you would use 2 ounce of 40 volume developer. Let me give you an example on that level 3, 4, or 5. You're trying to lift them up to a level to a 8, 9, or 10. If you're working with anywhere between 4 or 5 levels up, then you would need to use 1 ounce, which is half a tube of a color, more likely is an ultra lift, and then you would use a 1/4 tube of neutral. You will use 2.2 ounce of a 40 volume developer.